Hey guys, I'm here again to do my last video of the day, and it is another book review, this time about Legend by Marie Lu, which I just finished this morning. Legend, I know I just did a review on Cinder. I did not read these back to back, but Legend is another young adult dystopian book, which I know I have a particular weakness for that genre, and I've been dying to read this book for a long time, but I put it off because I don't know, I guess I just didn't want to read it right away, and just stupid, pointless reasons. And finally I'm like, you know what, I'm going to read it. And it is about a dystopian future in which America is split into now two separate countries which are at a constant war with each other. There is the west of the Republic, which is where this story takes place, and the east, which is called the Colonies. And this is a story with dual protagonists, June, who is obviously a girl. They're both 15 years old, and June is a wealthy, well-to-do prodigy. She is a top student. Despite being only 15, she's about to graduate from college. And then there's Day, who is from people don't really know much about him, but he is a mysterious wanted criminal. And then June is assigned to, she's graduated even earlier than she was already going to from school, and she is assigned to track down Day because he is supposed to have murdered her beloved older brother Matthias. And June and Matthias's parents have been dead for several years, and he essentially raised her, so she is part doing her duty to her country, because in this world, in the Republic, being a good student essentially means being a good soldier, which is what June is. And she is also, wants to avenge her brother's killer and track him down and bring him to justice. But obviously, that there's more to it than that. It's a dystopian, and that Day being the other protagonist, and also, being dual viewpoints in this, that, obviously he's not really a bad guy. Let's just get that out of the way. And then through getting to know each other, June comes to know through Day, that this so-called perfect society that she believes in so much is really corrupt. And shocker, who saw that coming. But, okay, on to the review. I did really enjoy this book, but I feel like my high expectations and hype let me down. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 rating. Like I said, my expectations were too high, and I feel like because of the hype, kind of, practically every review I have read about or watched about this book is glowing and talks about how brilliant and how great of a book it is. And even though I always try not to get my expectations up too much, I'm human and I am not infallible, and sometimes I unconsciously do expect too much from a book. So when it doesn't deliver, I do end up being disappointed. That is not to say that I didn't like this book. Obviously, I gave it a 4 out of 5, which is a good rating, but not perfect. I thought it was a really good book. It was enjoyable, and I liked the characters for the most part and the story and everything, but it didn't blow me away. Part of that, it has to do with it. Dystopians are all the rage nowadays, and they totally work for me. That's one of my favorite genres. I can't resist reading. When I hear about new dystopians coming out, I want to read them, despite, their prevalence and being everywhere. And it's really hard, I guess, for authors to come up with new, believable ideas for these societies and worlds and everything, and I totally understand that. This one didn't, unlike other dystopians I've read, this one, it didn't blow me away. I thought it was really good, but it didn't have the it factor for me. It didn't have anything that kept me on the edge of my seat. It didn't elicit a physical reaction when reading, Veronica Ross, Insurgent most recently, and then Divergent earlier last year books did, and it didn't have me all crazy happy smiling like Cinder did or anything like that. So it never went past really good to me. And I'm not even saying it was just good. I thought it was really good. But I enjoyed June and Day as characters, and June's growth is a character, obviously. Obviously, I didn't find anything really surprising in the reveals about what the government is really up to in this. It should be pretty obvious to the reader, but that's not really what let me down. I can't pinpoint any specific thing that stopped this from being a 5-star book. I think my expectations were, again, just too high. If anything, I feel like I wanted a little bit more. The book's pretty short. I think it's just over 300 pages. I feel like I wanted just a tad bit more, maybe backstory in the beginning, an explanation about the world. And it's the first in a series, I'm assuming a trilogy, I can't remember, but I believe it is a trilogy, so I'm sure in the next couple of books we will get a little bit more history about the Republic, you know, the counties maybe, and this war. And this, it really just kind of touches on the surface of what's going on, and I just wanted a tad bit more history in what I read. I don't know if that's really what made me bring it down. I just didn't find it to be so brilliant, because I feel like I was unconsciously expecting brilliance, even though I shouldn't have been, and that's what let me down a little bit. I do have to say my favorite character in this book was Matthias, which obviously you know right away from the synopsis that he's gonna die, and he dies very early in the book, so kind of disappointed about that. The rest you don't get to hear or read about him except through June, you know, recounting past events, which is okay, and I shouldn't have gotten so attached to a character who I already knew going into it was going to die. Silly of me to do that, but he was, I feel like, the coolest character in the book. But I did enjoy June and Day and the other characters as well. But it's really about the two of them. And you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like it was the romance was part of what led me to not give this book 5 stars, because again, I say this all the time, I feel like it was a little bit too rushed. Not that the characters get together right away or insta love or anything, but there was hints of that. They're being attracted very early on, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I kind of feel like, again, I feel like the book needed to be a little bit longer and kind of explore their getting to know each other in the beginning just a little bit more before things really get moving. And I don't know if I explained that very well, because I didn't want to give anything away, but if you've read the book, you should hopefully know what I am talking about, because I don't want to describe the particular scene. But I do feel like, and I guess that was the whole point, that it was really their relationship with each other that kind of led to everything in this. And I don't know, I guess maybe that they didn't exactly have a romance in the beginning, but it was, you know, it was their relationship, their romance, that was the spark that set off such a big chain of events in June questioning everything. And I guess I didn't like that it was, you know, romance being this major thing, that motivation. And I don't know, I wish the romance had been a smaller part, but I guess a lot of people do like that, and I'm just an evil, cynical, non-girl, because I don't know, I guess there's just something, romance being the focus like that in a book for me, for some reason, I'm just not crazy about it. I know it's no surprise to everybody now, because I say it all the time, but yeah, that wraps up my review, and it is, again, 4 out of 5 stars for Legend. I do recommend it if you like dystopians. I'm not saying it was a bad book by any way, obviously it's 4 out of 5, but I feel like bad and guilty for some reason for not giving it a perfect rating. So I don't know, I feel a guilty conscience about stuff that I should not feel bad about at all. That's it. I'll see you guys in my next video.